Welcome back, travelers, to another video. Today's video is going to be different from the videos that I've done for the longest time ever because I have an interview video for you today. And I've done interview videos in the past with people in person here and around Lima, but today I'm going to be interviewing Heather, who is joining me all the way from the US. And this is the best way that we could do this interview together. And I'm really excited because I haven't done a Zoom interview in a minute. And Heather's going to be sharing with us today all about her experience with plant medicine and how it's helped her. So for those of you who may be new to my channel, typically I do travel advice or tips that can help you to plan your trip to Peru or to transition into living in Peru if that's what you plan on doing, or just learning about cultural things related to Peru. But I have been working behind the scenes on videos related to plant medicine, shamanic medicine type things. And the other day, as I was chatting back and forth with Heather on one of my recent videos on Gamarra, which is this place known here in Lima where people go and do a lot of clothes shopping. She happened to mention, shamanic markets that she had visited during her time in Peru, and she started sharing about her journey with plant medicine. And I was blown away because I didn't know that Heather was spiritual like this, that she was going on this kind of path. And I just felt really inspired to reach out and just see if she was open to having me interview her so she can share her testimony, her experience with plant medicine. This is not for everyone, obviously, but if you're curious, if you want to maybe open up your mind a little bit or just hear someone else's experience on what this stuff could potentially do for them or for you, then I invite you to stick around and watch this video. It might be long. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but we're just going to roll with it and see how long this goes. So thank you so much, Heather, for joining me today. I'm really excited to have you here and to see you after so many years, because the last time I saw you was the last time you were in Peru way back in
Yeah,
2016.
my first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually met Heather through my YouTube channel. I happened to meet her, and yeah, we hung out for one day, and yeah, we've been in touch ever since online on Instagram, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 2016.
Yeah, awesome. We've known each other
Yeah.
that long.
Time flies.
Yeah. So, Heather, I wanted to start off today's video by you just maybe sharing a little bit first about you and your background, just anything you want to share in regards to that, or maybe what you do or something, just so people can know that you're a normal person, living a normal job, and then we'll segue into how you got into this journey of healing. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. So well, I'm as normal as your normal can be. But yeah, I've been a chef for I don't know, the last 15 years and did small business management before that. I ran coffee shops and I have struggled through this life in relationships, through communication, through my bosses, through my jobs. Now, mind you, I have been in a management position. I will say since I was 15, I was given keys to the store that I worked at. I was in charge of taking deposits, all of that. So it didn't hold me back in my progress at my job, which what I learned later on in life is that I used my job to define who I was. The success at my job counted for the success that I was, really because I had no self-worth. There was such low self-confidence, so self-worth, but I was always going to succeed. I was a people pleaser. That works really great in jobs, and your managers love people pleasers, and when you can be a doormat, they can take the most out of you for the least amount to you and kind of keep you in this position. So I'm really glad you started with this question because it's all to move just forward a little bit. The journey that I'm on now started in 2016 with the ayahuasca, and how ayahuasca found me. That environment that I was putting myself in was perpetuating trauma in my life. So again, to move forward, I'm in a position right now. The universe is so good to me. 8 months ago, I moved from Florida to Oregon, 3,000 miles. I got in my car. I drove with my two cats to get over here to be at the job that I'm at. 2 weeks before that, I had been talking with my therapist. Very important. I think that through this journey, people seek all of the educational tools that they can and keep everything that they can in their toolbox, because we need as much help as we can get in this life. So I was talking to my therapist, and we had been working through, different areas of me being able to not be frustrated at my job. I'm a very good employee. I work in an environment where I'm with addicts, and, addiction is very high in the restaurant business. Ego is very high in the restaurant business. Narcissism is very high in the restaurant business. But I said to my therapist, I think it's time for me to look for another job. I've been in my job 8 years. And I said, I think it's time for me to find a new job, because all I'm doing is helping myself not be frustrated sticking the round peg into the square hole. My environment's not changing. I'm not able to grow as much as I would like to be. 2 weeks later, this job opportunity comes up. I'm in an environment where every day I'm told, we love you. You're wonderful. You are so important at this job. When you leave, we notice. Anybody that ever lets you leave them, Heather, is an idiot. These are what my bosses say to me. And all I can think is like, because I'm still dealing with like the traumas, like you must have had horrible employees that you've had with you if I'm the best that you've ever had. I know I'm very good at what I do.
I want to pause you because I think that everything that you just shared is relevant and pertinent to the conversation, because I think so many people can relate to being in an environment, whether it's work or in personal relationships or whatever else, where they feel like there are just constant irritations there, that no matter how much they try to deal with it, or even, at some point they speak up or they end up going to therapy to learn how to better communicate and to deal with the triggers or the situations better, we can still feel very frustrated that we still continue to deal with those frustrating people or situations in our lives. And at some point, something has to change, and we have to be willing enough to do something radically different. And in your case, that was
Mhm.
deciding you wanted something different, you were ready for that, and then making this radical change of going from one end of the country to the other. And so I think that's very inspirational. And for anyone who may be listening, I want to also share that these patterns that Heather mentioned earlier about people pleasing and having people treat you like a doormat or whatever, this is something that a lot of people can relate to, whatever the circumstance or situation or relationship. I think lots of people, depending on how you grew up and things that you have to work through, you encounter experiences where people take advantage of you, they abuse your kindness, your goodness, or whatever may be. And these are all patterns that come up again and again, where yes, it's important to go and read about personal development or go to a therapist or whatever else to get the information, the tools to better handle those situations. But at some point, something has to give, and you have to be willing to make even bolder changes in your life. And so in your case, part of that was moving to the other part of the country.
Absolutely. And so in 2016, I had some very big challenges come up in my life. I was at this same job that I have been at. I was frustrated there. I was frustrated in a relationship. I was frustrated with my financial situation. I had a pet get ill and have to be put down. I broke a tooth, and all of these things were just stacking up on top of me, on top of the years of these same emotions rising up to the top. My therapist diagnosed me with CPTSD, if that's important at all. And so when I say traumatized and things like that, I know sometimes people get triggered by throwing that word around. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Sorry if I do. But I was doing a lot of the re-traumatizing to myself. And I see this now, that my inner critic was the voice of all of the people that had ever put me down, and my parents, whatever it was, and it was horrible here because I was trying to intellectualize what my feelings were. I had no idea how to feel my feelings. I could acknowledge them. I could acknowledge that they were not good. I could try and watch YouTube videos, find whatever research that I could. And when I broke this tooth, I had no tooth left. It was going to be, thousands of dollars to fix this in the States. And I was looking up my natal chart, my horoscope, and I found my natal chart, and that was amazing to me. And so I read the natal chart, and that was my life. Like, I know that it's generalizations. At that moment in my life, it's whatever Kool-Aid, no pun intended, because we're talking about plant medicines, but whatever Kool-Aid you want to drink, whatever's going to help you to get to living your best self. I think that that's why there's so many different things out here for all of the different people that we are. And because what is for me is not going to be for somebody else. We're so similar, but yet we're so different. So yeah, so I read this and I was like, mind blown. I'm like, okay, check. This has been the last, what I was in 2016, I was 36. So this has been the last like 35, 36 years of my life. Absolutely. Now I'm hooked. But I found a video on a girl who had went down to take ayahuasca. Now we'll get into the juice of it. Her video was really good, and it resonated, right? And so I think that anybody that understands when something resonates with you, you probably don't have words to describe what's happening here. And I was like, wow, I need to get some information on this. So I looked around, and I actually didn't dive too far down into what people's experiences were prior to. I didn't want other people's experiences to cloud anything that would happen for me. I wanted to know that what I'm putting into my body, I want to know about it. So I did research on that. But as far as people's personal experiences, I didn't want to know so much. It read like a drug treatment pamphlet. I think one of the things that really sold me on it, so I don't do drugs, but I come from addiction. My parents are in active addiction. Well, my real dad's not, but my mom is definitely in active addiction. I don't speak to my stepfather. I'm no contact with my mom for several years on and off over the last 15 years. I've always wondered why I live like an addict, why everybody in my life thinks I do drugs, why I have that stereotype around me, and I don't do it. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. But even for myself, I see the behaviors that I have. The people that I gravitate towards are people that are more willing to, have a luxurious lifestyle. So
Can I pause you
I
right
thought this is, yeah.
there? I think it's really important that you mention this about like how you don't do drugs as well, because I think a lot of people are weary of plant medicines of all types because they equate that to being a drug, something
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
We've all been conditioned, myself included. Don't, I've never really experimented with these things. And it's been part of one of the things I think that kind of put me off myself from plant medicines for most of my life as well is just because even though on some level I logically understand it's from a plant and it's more natural than all the other crazy stuff out there and it's helped people, but there was still a kind of resistance in a way for me
Mhm.
subconsciously, like that's not for me, especially because I grew up hearing stories from my grandmother of, the poor area of Lima that they grew up in, and my mom and my aunts and uncles grew up in. And there was a lot of like drugs being sold there in the area, and my grandmother always like instilled in me like don't do drugs, don't do this. So I've always, been walking the straight and narrow path and never really strayed away from that. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to share your story as well, is for those people who might have found themselves like us, who wanted to stay away from these drug related things, to see that we've opened our minds a little bit more, maybe this video will inspire them to be like, okay, maybe it's not what I've been programmed or conditioned to believe that it is. Maybe this isn't a drug. Maybe this is actually a healing medicine. So that's why I'm happy that you're here sharing your story today. And I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I wanted to really put that out there.
No, of course. Yeah, I think so too. And I'm glad that we can go into that is, yeah, I think that the people that, hear about ayahuasca and plant medicines, and they hear about it and they think that this is going to be a, psychedelic experience for them, that they're going to be having the greatest time of their life. This is work. You're working. You're doing all different kinds of work. Lots of things are working inside of you, and it's not a party. The diet that is recommended, and I will say required, before and after taking the medicine, is very serious. The things that you do and don't do before and after you're taking this medicine, I think is very serious, and it's not drugs. It's not it's not a party. It's not, go to the club and do something. It's not something that you're, how do I want to say this? If you went for a week to a retreat and you did a ceremony every other day while you were there, I think by day 4, ceremony 4, you might be considering not drinking. It's not something that you're going to get addicted to. It's it's because it's a lot of work. I think that having an understanding of what drugs and alcohol do to a person, I think that that's important. It does make you feel a little intoxicated. Like, that's one thing that I don't care for about it, because I don't like to be drunk. So that room spinny kind of feeling, I don't care for that, but it's not horrible. As if you've just, downed a bottle of vodka or something.
So you went to the Amazon to do your ceremonies in 2016?
Yeah, I go to Iquitos, to a retreat center there.
Yeah, because you had so many things happen to you back to back to back, like your pet getting sick, your tooth situation, everything that led up to
Mhm.
that. If you want to talk
Yeah, everything.
about
Yeah, so everything that led up to, so it was I was tired. I was tired of feeling a certain way, rock bottom, if you will. I'm I'm going to keep living this life for the rest of my life, that's for sure. So, you know, when you're sad that you're going to keep living, it's like something's got to give, right? Like, don't don't glamorize the other side of that. So I did my research, and the universe will always take care of us, and let the universe do what it needs to do. Don't try to future trip on how, the who, what, when, where, why, how of things, because when I tell you, I had no idea how I was going to get to Peru, how I was going to pay for my dentist, how I was going to pay for the retreat. I had no idea, but it happened. Everything fell into line. One situation happened, I was able to buy my plane tickets. Another situation happened, I was able to do this. I was getting paid while I was in Peru. Just every little thing. Obviously, I didn't go on this luxurious trip when I was in Peru. I think I went down there with a couple $100, and maybe like 500 soles and like $200 in my bank account. That was it. I stayed at Airbnb in somebody's house. It was like $16 a night. It was great, perfect, safe, secure, easy. You take the Uber, it's just, it's a few bucks here and there around the city. So yeah, and that was it. I just hit the ground running, and the universe and my life, everything just fell right into line. And I left the country for the first time by myself and went to Peru, and, got into Jose Chavez at 11 o'clock at night. went to a Airbnb right by the airport, and then took a plane the next morning to Iquitos. I got there on I think it was the Monday, and then we had ceremony that night. I slept the whole night. I just slept like all through the ceremony. I just fell asleep. And it's funny. So for these people that think that going and taking ayahuasca is going to be this crazy psychedelic experience, I want you to know that every ceremony I have, I sleep through it.
Yeah, I think
I
it's,
don't have,
go ahead.
yeah, I don't have visuals. I'm not on this crazy, whatever you would see or imagine trip. It's a medicine. It's working inside of myself. The shaman is singing his Icaros. I'm surrounded by this love. I'm surrounded by this energy. This man is holding space for me. He's talking to the spirits and saying what he needs to say to these people. I just need to be present. I need to let the medicine work.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think
Succumb.
it's important that you highlight that not every experience is going to be a hallucinogenic type of experience. Because I think that's what a lot of people associate plant medicines with. And you just shared how every ayahuasca ceremony you've done, you sleep through it. I have done something kind of like ayahuasca and Cambo and San Pedro. And during Cambo and San Pedro, oh, the cat reminds me of my baby Nala. May she rest in peace. But I didn't have any hallucinogenic type things with San Pedro and Cambo, and very, very like little, if any, with the ayahuasca like thing that I took years ago in 2016 as well. And that's just my experience. Other people, I don't know why they seem to trip out. And they also throw up a lot or whatever else. And I'm pretty calm and chill, and it just does whatever it needs to through me. So it's something to keep in mind, because I think that the medicine is very sacred, and I know that you also share that value as well for me, for the great respect for these medicines, because I believe that they have their own consciousness, and it's kind of like, a person standing next to you, and you should treat that person with respect. And when it comes to these plant medicines, it's like having grandfathers and grandmothers around you, and you treat that with respect, which is why I think you should follow, to the best of your ability, the dietary guidelines before and after the ceremonies. And you should come into these experiences with a higher level of intentionality, as opposed to, oh, I just want to go have this crazy shamanic experience and just trip out and whatever, because that's very disrespectful to the medicine. So anyway,
Super disrespectful.
yeah.
Super disrespectful. So this is going to be the most in-depth conversation I've had with anyone, and now all of the interwebs. But that you're the safest person that I've encountered to have this conversation with. Because I hope that you could not take it disrespectfully. Like, I feel like we're very like-minded in that, and it's the you have to respect the medicine. This is not a game. It is not a fun time. It is serious work. This is to help you out for the duration of your life. This is not a one and done situation. I haven't been back down since maybe the beginning of 2019, end of 2018. And I was supposed to go back in 2020. I was going to spend 40 days in the jungle. And it was my 40th birthday. This was really the universe didn't see fit for anyone to be able to do anything for a few years. So, so I'm here now, but I'm really excited to go back down and work with the medicine again. I've been able to do so much more work this past year for myself. And let me say this about that too. Ayahuasca isn't like a miracle situation. It's not something that you take and all of your problems, trauma goes away or turns into this ball of overly positive, feelings. It's work. The journey is long and the road is hard. I've said that for years, and up until recently I didn't realize that there's people on that road that we can get help from. We don't have to do it alone. And that's what ayahuasca is. That's what San Pedro is. That's what Cambo is. These are tools to help us along the journey, to help us be focused. I can talk about not scientifically. I'm a chef, not a doctor, not a shaman, not any of these things. But from what I know, I'll say personally from my lived experience, that I believe from the research that I've done, is that so ayahuasca helps reconnect your neural pathways. So when I came back from Peru in 2016, I didn't instantly walk down to my car and realize that I forgot my sunglasses. And I didn't not tell myself, Heather, you're an idiot. How many times, like, how can you leave the house without your sunglasses again? No, it gave me the opportunity to change it, to say, oh, you know what, Heather? Don't do that. Okay, so now I'm changing my behavior, and it's going to help it stick, by reinforcing different behaviors. Like, you have to change yourself, and then that change sticks better.
I want to clarify that. So are you saying that before the first ceremony that you came down to do here in Peru, you were kind of running on autopilot with these behaviors? So your pattern was just to be very negative and critical to yourself. And then afterwards, you were able to pause enough and have enough self-awareness to where you could choose to respond differently or react differently than what you had been accustomed to doing. And that slowly helped you to shift your behaviors and your relationship with yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely correct. And so I will just add that behavior that I changed, it wasn't any better. It was, you just spent X amount of dollars to not do this to yourself. Don't do this to yourself. It was still very mean and
Right.
harsh. I've only learned self-compassion over the last like year and a half.
Okay.
Much kinder now. Yeah, I thought that I was doing better. I thought that was better, instead of being like, you dumb F, ba 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 ba, different type of berating.
Yeah, it's very sneaky and subtle, and you don't realize it until you're ready to awaken to it and change it, I think.
Hmm. Yeah. But I mean, and even still for that, I love it. I love that I have something like, I mean, I laugh at it now, and I can give that Heather of that time period, the little bit of compassion that she needed then. Like, oh, hey babe, sorry that I was such an ass to you then. Like, you really were trying. Like, I see you. You did good.
What other shifts or changes did you notice once you returned back to the States in 2016?
So it was internal. I still wasn't as great as I am today. Don't, like I said, it's not a magic pill. It's not something that's going to cure you right away. It allowed me to start to learn self-awareness, and to be able to take that pause that you just spoke about, because before I didn't pause at all, and it allowed me to, when I wasn't feeling great, I had another resource. So whether going, laying and meditating and like listening to Icaros, and just trying to, like, meditate, listening to that, whether it be watching some YouTube videos and just feeling like a community of some kind, to hear people confirming what you yourself like want to know, but maybe the outside world isn't showing you as a reality. And it's still helping me. That's the thing. It's not, I don't think that it's something that leaves you, and it stays with you. And so I think that today it's brought me where I am today. I contribute every ceremony that I've ever had, every intention that I've ever set. Like, one of my first intentions was, I want to be able to ask better questions. I felt that I wasn't getting the responses from people on the outside, because maybe it was me not asking good enough questions. Well, what I didn't realize then is that it's not questions for other people. It's to be able to ask myself better questions, to be able to look inward, to be able to say, Heather, how are you feeling?
Mm.
Heather, are you hungry? Heather, are you tired?
Mm.
Do you need some water? Little things like this. And it's yeah, I mean, I think it carries through in everything that I do every day.
Did you feel any different at the end of your first week of ceremonies with ayahuasca?
Yeah. The first night, the when I woke up after the first ceremony, I was sitting outside, whatever, eating breakfast. And I definitely had the feeling over me where, and I made a video of it, where I was just like, I feel great. Like, and I think it's very close to like this genuine smile. Like internally, like everything inside of me felt wonderful. My mind felt super clear. The self doubt and the criticisms were they were it's a completely different environment as well. So of course they're different and not that, but it felt lighter, like as if a weight had been lifted off of me. And then I can tell you when I got back to Lima, and I was there for a couple days. I had an amazing breakdown, like just ugly crying, sobbing. Like it was such an amazing release. And I think I journaled about it, but today I don't remember what it was necessarily about. Feeling inadequate and like giving my future self a hard time for like how I'm never going to be able to be in this position again, and this is like once in a lifetime. I don't know, it was so strange. And then I mean, obviously I've been back several times. It was but such a release. And then that next day I felt great.
Mm.
Walked around. I think I walked like 12 miles around Miraflores. It was awesome. But yeah, and just lighter. When I came back to Florida and I saw some of my friends, they noticed a difference. Just this lightness. I saw my ex, and I saw mutual friend is like, oh hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in forever. Like, and I'm like, oh man, I'm doing wonderful. Da, 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 da. My ex looks at me and is like, who are you? Like, I've never heard you speak like this. Like, oh yeah. I'm on some new shit now.
Mm.
Like I'm that old tired Heather. No more. No more. We can't do that anymore. But, I continued being sad and depressed and low throughout the way, trying to intellectualize all of the, traumas or whatever. And it's a nervous system, man. We got to rewire ourselves.
So every time you've come down, did you have like three ceremonies each time?
3 to 4. The first time I came down, I did, I believe, 3. I think the second time was 4, and then the third time was 3, I believe.
Okay.
And then when I go back down, I think I'm only gonna drink one more time.
Mm.
I'm gonna see what she has to say to me,
Okay.
and yeah.
And why did you decide to come down the second time?
Ah.
Because the first time had like all of this dramatic buildup to it, where it was like the last straw, like you were just in such a bad place where you were like, something's got to give, and that's what led you to
Yeah.
it, found you. But why?
So to come back down, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful retreat. I mean, the Amazon is an amazing place. No power, no running water for 10, 11 days. Just for that, like, is amazing of a experience to have. I wanted to keep doing work. I thought that, so I can see the difference then versus now, or now versus then, is I wanted, again, I was trying to intellectualize a lot of my trauma,
Mm.
and I was trying to, and I was berating myself horribly for still being in the same feeling and mindset and knowing better. And so when I went down that second time, I think that part of it was to work on that, to try to alleviate and have, those types of conversations with myself. And I additionally went down with I brought someone with me. I don't recommend that. I think that it should be a solo journey with just yourself. I think that if somebody wants to go do that, they should do that on their own. And it shouldn't be a couples thing for sure. Um,
But I think also
I
this applies to traveling in general. Like you can have some really great friends, but if you're not compatible in terms of your travel style, you're gonna be miserable with each other. And it's kind of like that. Like the journey could be even better with someone with you if you're both on the same page when it comes to the personal
Mhm.
development, healing, and things like that. But if not, no, not gonna be good, you know.
No. And so I won't put her out, like her experience necessarily out there, but I think it is good for comparison actually, since this is what we're talking about. So she had I had just gotten back like 6 7 months from Peru, and then she and I met and we dated for 4 5 6 months, and I had already planned on coming back down before I met her. So I'm very up in my spirits. I'm very full, pro this experience, and I'm for people living their best life. It's hard. We have a lot of generational trauma, we have cultural trauma, and it holds us back a lot in our life. And my partner at this time, she had some, situation, and I was like, oh man, I was like, maybe this is why, we're together. Maybe I'm here to, help you and show you like this other way. So I had asked her to do her own research on ayahuasca, and I don't think she was ready. I don't think that she did enough research. I don't think that she believed me in the things that I said of what my experience was like, how serious and how much respect it deserved. She did not have a great
Mm, yeah.
time. Yeah, she did the diet, everything like that, but I don't think that she was ready for the experience. And I can see one versus the other, being ready and not being ready. Like I said, I don't drink unless you are 120% committed to what this experience is,
Right.
because like you said, Steph, there's a consciousness behind this medicine, and with a consciousness is going to interact with your consciousness, and if you're not ready, they don't really have time for you either. They're going to, okay, goodbye, on to the next. And so do the work, guys. Do your research, be ready.
And so what
But
was your
yeah,
experience like this at the end of that second round of ayahuasca? Did you feel any
I'm
different?
sorry, say it
Oh,
to me one more time.
what was your experience like? What changes did you notice at the end of that second retreat with ayahuasca?
Oh, well, so again, always the universe is great. I think that I should have listened to the universe. I should have, well, I don't like to use shoulds. I came back realizing a lot of things about my relationship and how I dealt with relationships, how I engaged with people. And we were together for 5 years after this. Don't get me. It wasn't like I left her or anything. Um, but it that those 5 years were a lesson to be learned. And I think that I don't want to say punishment, right, because the universe will never punish you, but the lessons that were I was able to learn throughout that 5 year relationship with this person, it's changed me for the rest of my life, like for the better. It was not a good relationship by any means, but I was able to see so much of myself and what I get, what I can give, and what kind of patience and understanding I can have. Watch a person gaslight you for 5 years. We won't get into it. But it allowed me to see the best side of myself in that relationship. I had a lot of negative patterns from past relationships that I did not continue on. into this relationship when things got bad. I was able to communicate
Mhm.
wonderfully, have the patience to do that. And like I said, it was great.
You feel like ayahuasca
But
helped with
oh,
that, with improving your communication?
yes. Well, I feel like knowing that my intentions while I was down there was for communication, was for better self-understanding, a better ability to coexist with another human being.
Mhm.
So I think that it's whatever your intentions are when you're going into it, I think that those are the ways that it's going to continue to help you. And again, it's, just knowing that in my mind, that pause, like you can react this way or you can react this way. You've done something that's going to help you to continuously react differently. Why don't you try reacting differently? And then you react differently, and then you get a different result. And then internally, you have some more positive examples to draw from rather than the past negative
Right. It's like rewrite.
outcomes. Yeah.
Okay. And what inspired you to come down for a third time?
So what I was thinking is I don't I didn't go drink the third time I came down. I misspoke when we were just talking about it. I was going to interrupt you, but I didn't want to
Oh,
interrupt you.
yeah.
Yeah, so I only drank those two times.
Okay.
The third and fourth time I went down, I didn't go. I was going to try and have the shaman come to Lima. I wanted him to come down, and I wanted to do Cambo again. Which
Mm,
you said you took Cambo, right?
yes, I did. So hopefully by the time
How?
this video goes up, there should be a video on my Cambo experience on my channel.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, I still got the dots on my legs. Here you
Oh
go.
yeah. Oh, your scars look so nice.
You think so? Well, thank you.
Yeah, they're so prominent.
Yeah,
That's
it's dark.
I
And I've noticed in the because I asked the guy who did the gumbo with like he was my guy, my healer. I was like, these scars are really dark. That's why I also wanted them down on my leg as well, because I'm a lady and I don't want scars like on my arms wherever it's visible because I want to look cute.
uh-huh.
And he was like, no, but I've gotten some on my legs too. And, they're taking a long time to heal. So I don't know how long it's going to be before these actually disappear, but the ones on the arms
Okay.
disappear more quickly and easily. But what were you saying about
Oh,
that?
okay. Yeah, good. Oh, yeah, no, because yeah, mine are like you can't even see them.
Yeah.
Um, so Cambo was an interesting one. That's like I'll wait for your video to see how your experience was. Mine was crazy.
So you did
Um,
ayahuasca and Gambo at the same time? Like the same retreats?
different days, but at the same retreat.
You did it twice, like on both times that you came down?
No, no, I've only taken Cambo once.
Oh, okay. What inspired you to do that?
He did it. Well, he started to do it there, and then just the research on it. I think it's an amazing lore of the Cambo. Do you know
No.
one of the lores of Cambo? So, a little wives' tale folklore that I've read is that there was, however long ago, there was a shaman, and his village was sick, and so he went and he took ayahuasca, and he asked ayahuasca, "Listen, my village is sick, my people are going to die. What can I do to keep my people alive?" And ayahuasca told him, "I want you to go deep into the jungle. I want you to find this frog. I want you to get this frog. This is how I want you to excrete the
Extract.
sap from him. And then this is how I want you to administer it to your people." And so the shaman did all of these things, and then he cured his tribe.
Mm.
And so, they say that the Cambo is like thousands of times more effective, like antivirus, like antibiotic,
Yeah.
right? Like a vaccine type situation, than traditional like medicines are. And I was like, all right, well, I'm into that. I like a little immune boost. I'll take it. And then another thing that I read is that a lot of warriors, the hunters,
Mhm.
will take the Cambo before they go for a hunt.
Mm-hmm.
to help to give them direction and focus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, oh, okay, well, I could take something that if I set intention on direction and focus, that this could help me have better direction and focus in my life. Yes. Yes, please. So yeah, so I think I was there for my birthday. I think I did it on my birthday.
Oh, wow. How very synchronous.
Yeah. Yeah, not the best birthday present I ever gave
Yeah.
to myself.
How many dots?
No, I didn't. Three.
Oh,
Um, I didn't have a great experience.
did you throw up?
Okay, so the problem is that yeah, like I drank a lot of water and then it didn't like uh the shaman's name is Percy. So Percy was like busy or something and like held up. So we were like late on when we were supposed to take it. So now I'm starting to like have to use the restroom,
Mm,
like to, urinate. And he puts it on and then I can't puke.
mm,
Like I just couldn't. And so I had them on for like almost an hour.
wow.
Yeah, so the guy that was supposed to be watching us, he was, I don't know, doing whatever he was doing. And Percy was like, people had just come to the retreat. So he was like, showing them around. Out on our private time, I'll send you pictures of what I look like. My face was so swollen
Right.
because I was just head in the bucket, all of that pressure coming up.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk for like a day, like 7 hours.
Yeah.
Like I could
Hold on.
I could yeah, I could barely write anything. It was wow. It took like 3.5 days for the swelling to go down.
So for anyone listening who might be discouraged now from doing gumbo, let me stop you for a second. From what I know from the guy who did the gumbo for me, it's only supposed to be on for about 20 minutes. And then it's up to you if you want to go a little bit longer, a little bit longer. But if you go a little bit longer, probably around 30 to 40 minutes, probably after 40, especially if you go longer, then you will have swelling because it is like a toxin. So you are going to naturally have certain reactions. Your lips might get swollen, your ears might get swollen, your nose might get swollen, your throat might get swollen. It's not going to stop you from breathing necessarily. You will be swollen and it's going to take a little bit of time, some hours for it to come back to normal. And in Heather's case, probably because she left it on over like an hour or so. That's probably why she
Yeah,
needed,
like an hour.
yeah, all those days to recover. But
Yeah.
typically 20 to 30 minutes is probably acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 15, 20 minutes is perfect enough. Get that bile out, purge, 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 good to go. I would do it again. It didn't dissuade me from having the experience again. I think that it would probably be a better experience this time, having some knowledge about what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and also
Um,
I think that also speaks to like the medicine does on some level help you to purge and release. So you're either going to release through vomiting or through maybe sneezing or through going to the bathroom and doing number two or whatever. But if subconsciously you are resistant to purging, even no matter how much you feel called to purge, you might struggle with that. And
mhm.
it's painful, but it's like if you've left it on for at least 10 or 15 extra minutes trying to get that last bit out that feels like it's coming up and it's still not coming out of you, then don't torture yourself by keeping the medicine on longer to try to get it out because you're just maybe not ready. And that's okay
Right.
because the medicine is still going to help you to purge even after the fact. In the like 2 to 3 days after your ceremony, it's still going to be working its magic energetically and physically, and it's going to help you to release another way. So maybe in the days after your ceremony, you might come down with a cold, or you might have diarrhea, or you might have other things that are helping you release that stuff that you had trouble releasing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's very, very, very good statement there on that. And it's good for people to know that. Because yeah, I don't think my experience is regular. Just, you know, an
Wasn't my
an
experience at all.
experience.
I looked normal as
No.
hell. Like, wait till you see my video. And I had a nice experience that first time. I don't know what it would be like, in another opportunity. And I know definitely when you get the dots, it's much more intense depending on what part of your body you get it. So, the closer to your heart, according to what the Gambo guy told me, is, the more intense it is. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know what it would be like if I do it again and I decide to get it in my armpit area, because that's not as visible. I could probably do that. I don't know how that would affect me, if it would hit me like right away or something, and if it
Yeah,
me to throw up. I don't know.
you probably have a really good diet, so it probably is really like that's beneficial, super beneficial.
Yeah.
'Cause I only have a good diet for the 6 weeks, 8 weeks beforehand.
Well, that's still good. That's better than
Uh,
most people.
yeah, well, we still say. But
Uh,
and you've taken San Pedro too, right?
yeah, I'm gonna
Did you
probably
say that?
yeah, I'm gonna do a separate video on my experience on that. But it was an interesting experience too. I didn't really hallucinate.
So
I was just
what what would be into I've never taken San Pedro, and I've taken like mushrooms, like psilocybin mushrooms. I've done that like maybe 3 times, and I don't care for it
hmm,
at all. And I didn't take it in any kind of medicinal way. I took it recreationally,
maybe it would be
but
different
yeah,
if you took it with intentionality.
yeah, I didn't like the way it made me feel. Like I would take it in a monitored scenario. Now I wouldn't do it like on my own and get things from God only knows who off the street ever again. What I wanted to ask you is, do you have any opinions on the masculine energy that San Pedro, the cactuses, will have versus the feminine energy of ayahuasca?
Mm, I mean, I haven't done ayahuasca. I've done something similar
Oh,
to
right, right.
is
Mhm.
I was told it was called like Jurema or whatever. And it was like the masculine form of ayahuasca, supposedly. Because
Okay.
there's different other medicines out there that are like the male equivalent of ayahuasca, and it's just a different
Hmm.
experience. And I actually, this past Sunday, I did a type of alternative therapy, and one of the guys I met there was talking about the masculine form of ayahuasca that he did with some Colombian dude that comes to Peru from time to time, and how, the difference in the experience and how it's like more intense, because a masculine energy is more like boom, and feminine is more like windy, and sometimes can be more gentle, although I've heard from other people's
Hmm.
experiences that it can be really intense too. So it just depends. And me personally, I don't think I have enough experience with plant medicines to really, and I don't think I've done them enough to where I can say I genuinely feel a difference in this or that.
Okay.
And I think I'm an exception to the rule because I'm not a normal person. I don't want to offend
I,
anyone, but I'm so radically different from most people because of how I eat, because of my lifestyle, because of my beliefs, because of the healing work I've done, etc., that I think that the impact that these plant medicines could have on me is vastly different from a normal person with a 9 to 5 with normal life challenges and struggles, and they don't have any awareness of healing or personal development. Like, it's just going to be a totally different
mhm.
experience for them than for me, potentially. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I felt chill with San Pedro, and it lasted me, I think I took it like at 11 in the morning one day on a Tuesday, I think, and it lasted all the way up to like maybe 2 in the morning.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
What an amazing experience.
Yeah. I was like, when is this stuff gonna wear off? Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just really chill, but I was also really tired the day that I had to do it. I didn't sleep well the day before. Oh, that's something else I want
Hmm.
to mention is that a lot of times, no matter what type of healing you do, when you decide you want to heal and improve your life, a lot of times prior to doing that healing, you're probably going to start experiencing things in your physical body or in your life that kind of seem like things are going to hell in some way. So like a lot of times before you do this healing stuff with plant medicine, sometimes you'll come down with a cold, or you'll just feel more tired, or I don't know, lethargic, whatever. Certain symptoms will come over you days leading up to the healing, because subconsciously you know what's coming, and subconsciously you're already beginning like a purging kind of process, or you're maybe resistant or whatever it may be. So that's something to think about prior to I think before I did this alternative healing that I did this past Sunday, I was like really gassy, like the night before or something, like crazy gassy, like those stank farts. And I was like, oh my God, where is this coming from? I didn't eat anything that was like different from what I normally eat. Like, what in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And it was because I was already releasing, some
Yeah.
deathly smelling things. So deadly smelling things. So it just depends. And yeah, I think that with ayahuasca or cambo or something, cambo, the days before cambo, I started getting like some throat issues like 2, 3 days before. It was interesting. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that is super, super interesting. So I love that though. Like not like the synchronicity of it, but like just how, like the dynamic of how it works. Like when you look at it, and it's like, oh, you know what? I can see that purge was happening then, like that I was preparing for it. You know, like our body knows when
Our
we're ready.
Yeah, our consciousness and our subconscious know like things are
Yeah.
happening. Is there anything else, anything left for you to that you want to share in regards to your experience with ayahuasca, how it transformed your life? You kind of talked a little bit about it earlier at the beginning when you mentioned, where you were at the start of your journey, how you had hit your rock bottom, and how today you're in a really great position in a job that, you love, where people treat you well, where you're happy, where things are going well for you. But is there anything else that you would like to share there?
Yeah, there is. I think that we all deserve a chance to be the best version of ourselves. And I think that we choose a lot of maladaptive coping mechanisms in order to deal with our day to day.
Mm.
And change is possible, a better life is possible, and it's a lot of work. And you have to be very dedicated to yourself in order for these things to happen. It's not going to happen on its own. As much as we say, like, let it go, trust in the universe, you still have to do the work for yourself. I want to say I don't suffer from addiction. I suffer from a lot of the same internal feelings as people who suffer with addiction. I think that taking this route to at least try ayahuasca, to try these plant medicines in conjunction with therapy, meetings, community, I think that it's worth the try, because the people, whoever is watching this, you're worth it. You deserve it. You deserve the best life that you could have. And anything that you could do to help yourself, please do it, because I have faith in you, and you're already doing better than you think that you are just by watching this video.
That's sweet. So I was actually looking down and I saw my Oracle card deck, Herbal Astrology.
Oh, mhm.
I was like, oh, it would be cool to like pull a card just to like close up this video and share a final message, I guess, from the universe with people. But before I pull the card, I also want to say, oh, look at this, the inside. You are the medicine.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, for anyone wanting more information on ayahuasca and stuff, I did an interview with my friend Maggie of Carlos Tanner, who is the founder of the Ayahuasca Foundation in Iquitos. So it's on a different channel, but I will link that up here, I guess, is the corner, whatever, at the top somewhere for you to go check that out. It's a 2-part interview. He talks a lot about like misconceptions around ayahuasca and how to prepare for ayahuasca. And he definitely helped me personally to open my mind up to plant medicine because, again, I was very much, I don't want to say anti-plant medicine, but I was not necessarily open to it. And I did try it back in 2016 when I was invited by my friend Jimmy, who is one of my followers here on YouTube. He invited me to go to Cusco with him to do this ayahuasca like thing, and I had a really bad intense experience, and ever since then I got traumatized and I was like, never again. But because of Carlos and the interviews that I did with him, he helped me to open up my mind and to change a lot of negative and limiting perceptions that I had about plant medicine and ayahuasca in particular. So now I'm much more open and I'm like, okay, I will do this when the time comes and when I feel like I'm being called to do it. It's not something like we both said earlier, it's not something that you do recreationally. It's a sacred medicine, and ayahuasca will find you where you will feel called to connect with ayahuasca in some way. So when that time comes, then you take the necessary measures to find the best place that's a fit for you at this time. But if you want to check out those videos, I'll link them up here so that you can go and watch them afterwards. And I have more videos coming out on my channel about my experience with gumbo, San Pedro, if they're not already out by the time you see this. And there's gonna be an interview with the guy who I did gumbo with, and we'll talk about rape as well, I'm sure at some point, for you to learn more about these things. And so, yeah, the purpose of sharing all these things, I know not everyone that comes to my channel is really and necessarily into these things, but I just want to put it out there for anyone who is interested to hear different testimonies, different experiences, to just be educated, because I think you really have to do your research, as Heather has really emphasized in this videos. You have to do your research and see if this is the right fit for you. Okay. It's all personal choice and free will. So anyway, I want to pull a card to see what final messages the universe, God, has for us. God, what message do you have for everyone for their highest good? What note would you like to leave for everyone on to conclude this video? I got these cards because since I work with energy and stuff, I've kind of distanced myself a little bit from the spiritual stuff, but I was like, oh, it would be good to learn about these plants and like connect with their energy and meditation and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gotten around to it, but I will.
Yeah, all of the plants are so like, because there's so many more than just like the mainstream ones.
Yeah.
I don't even know the names of them. There's one plant that they diet with over there. It's called a walking tree that you guys have there, native, and it will travel up to 3 meters. The tree will move up to 3 meters, like in search of water. And so they use part of that tree in a diet to like, help you persevere and like move towards your, sustaining your life or whatever it may be.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I don't know. It didn't seem like a card wanted to come out, but then at the end, I was confused if one wanted to pop out or not. And then a bunch of cards flew out. So
I saw them fly.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. So we have here Rose. This is a Rose card. It says love. And we have Rhodiola, which is wisdom. Look at that beautiful. Wisdom.
Beautiful.
Echinacea, I guess, which is destiny, which is very interesting. And
echinacea. Yeah.
Oh, is that how you say it? I don't know. I didn't know how, but yeah.
I think so. Echinacea.
So these were the ones that came out face up, and these ones came face down, but they still flew out. This is hibiscus, joy. And this is rosemary, ancient memory. It's very interesting. Like the words that are coming out are destiny, wisdom, love, ancient memory, and joy. So out of all of these cards, Heather, which one would you like for me to read about from the booklet?
Joy.
Joy. Okay. It says here, in ancient Egypt, hibiscus tea was commonly used to lower body temperature as a diuretic and to treat heart and nerve diseases. In Africa, it was used as a gastrointestinal healer, as it helped with constipation and liver support. In Hindu mythology, hibiscus is closely associated with the goddess Kali and the dark goddess of death, time, and change. Red hibiscus flowers are often presented as offerings to Kali, representing divine consciousness. In Mexico and Central America, it's called Flor de Jamaica and has been used to make healing juices for hundreds of years. Primarily used as a tea and poultice, hibiscus has been used in beauty rituals, particularly as a face wash, as it nourishes and tightens the skin. Central American midwives have used it during birth and post-birth to tighten the uterus and assist with excess bleeding. Due to its astringent properties, the pulp of the leaves helps heal wounds and incisions. Hibiscus, ruled by Venus, embodies the power of the divine feminine, grace, beauty, creativity, and harmony. Venusian herbs are those that tone the cardiovascular system, reproductive system, the blood, the kidneys, thyroid, and parathyroid. Hibiscus dissolves blockages in the first and second energetic centers, opening the channels at the base of the spine, reproductive centers, and lower back. So here's the guidance, the message. Like hibiscus, you emanate the essence of Venusian grace. You hold and cradle life. You are the nurturer. Your presence brings renewal and joy to others. Express your creativity to keep attracting this colorful energy back to you. Like the hummingbird, you are a creature of nectar, a conduit of divine love and joy. Reversed, which means this way, hummingbird may represent the inability to see the many blessings you have been given. Don't shy away from your power. You are worthy of it all. Follow the dance of the hummingbird, journey into your sadness, and know that this pain is just a thread within the fabric of joy. I like that because everyone's going to have a different experience with ayahuasca. And sometimes it's like brutally painful, brutally intense. But the other side to that is joy. And it kind of reminds me of childbirth, you know? It's like a lot of women say, you know, even though it's painful or difficult, it's like the greatest joy in your life. Like you don't even think about the pain anymore. You think about the joy. And I think that in part is what ayahuasca does sometimes, or these plant medicines is like you feel that extreme intensity of the healing that the medicine is supporting you with. But on the other side of that is liberation, is joy, is lightness, is peace, is all of these things that you're seeking. And it's a reminder for life, you know. It's something that I'm constantly trying to remember as well. As like, even though I've gone through a lot of crap in my life, I get to choose whether I keep focusing on that and keep looking at it from a negative lens, or if I see all the goodness in life. And it's a constant practice because I have been negative focused most of my life. But I got the joy, the blessings, and the things, you know?
Yeah. I thought it was really, really good. I mean, that of course it was going to be good. It was right on time, perfect for the moment. But I've really been trying to do things that bring me joy, not that make me happy, not that are fun, things that bring me absolute joy. And you know, we had to pass through a lot of pain to get to those points, to even realize that there's joyful things out there. And it's simple things, right? Hanging out with my cats.
Yeah.
Like that brings me a tremendous amount of joy.
Yay.
Going to work every day and feeding people that can't feed themselves, tremendous amount of joy. And the road here was not easy.
Right.
Did not, there was a lot that had to be passed through over the last 20 years, 30 years, to be able to be in a place where every day I get to see the joy on people's faces. Like I get to bring them joy. Like, oh my God, amazing.
Yeah. You just reminded me of like in my life, there have been so many instances in which I wanted to die, and I didn't see living, or I just felt like life was just so unbearably hard again and again and again, and I just couldn't be bothered with continuing to persevere anymore. And right now, where I'm at, even though my life maybe isn't what I want it to be per se, but I'm in a really good place. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't gone through all of that, like you said, all of the stuff. So I think this is a reminder for anyone watching, if you're going through a hard time, focus on all the little things. Focus on the good that is happening in your life, the things that you have been able to overcome, and know that better days are definitely on the horizon.
Yeah, that's it. Better days will come. They will. We've lived through 100% of our worst days. On my worst days, I have to tell myself that today, in the present, because it doesn't just end. There's still hard days. There's still bad days. There's still days where it's only here, but to persevere, and it does. We always come up where we're supposed to be.
I appreciate you saying that because that is so true. I think a lot of times we expect things to get worse and worse, but I think if you're on the healing path, the personal development path, if you're doing your part to educate yourself, to put into practice new tools or things that you're learning to heal from your past, then with each step that you take forward and implementing these things, applying them in your life, you're becoming better and better. And it's impossible for you to go back to how things were in the past, because now you're older, you're wiser, you're more empowered, you have certain knowledge and wisdom. So even if shitty things happen along the way, you are now much more prepared and capable of handling them, and for it not to affect you the way that it has in the past. And so your worst days truly are behind you. and you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about those things as much anymore. All right. Well, this was a really great conversation. Thank you so much, Heather, for being here and sharing your story and your experience with everyone. And I really hope that this served whoever may be watching. If you got value out of this conversation today, please give this video a thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below with any comments, insights, questions, anything you want to share. I'm happy to just have a conversation. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel and you want to see more content on Peru or the shamanic type stuff as well, be sure to hit that subscribe button below and hit the little bell notification button and change your settings to all so you're always notified. Once again, related videos that we've mentioned are going to be up here somewhere for you to click and watch afterwards. And yeah, I just really appreciate everyone who took the time to tune in and watch. And thanks again, Heather, for bringing your beautiful light and energy. I want to say something that I said to Heather at the very beginning when we first connected. It wasn't recorded, but Heather, when I first met Heather back in 2016, she looked different from how she looks today. Like I can see the transformation and the healing that has occurred on this woman's face. And it is a true testimony to the fact that whatever path you've been on, Heather, with receiving therapy and the plant medicine, it's truly made a difference in your life and your being, because I can see it. You were absolutely radiant. You are radiant. And back in the day, you were not, you had a totally different appearance. And I can understand that too, because when I've gone through some low moments in my life, I also look like that too. And I'm like, oh, thank God I'm glowing now.
Thank God. Yeah, well, thank you for noticing. It really means it means a lot. I'm glad that you can see it because I feel it and I'm happy to be able to, show people that that's something that's really important to me, because I still remember those bad days. They were just like last week to me still. And it's I'm so grateful every day that those aren't the days, because you can't unsee that. I can never be that person again. I
Yeah.
can only grow and live in this light. That's it.
Yeah. It's beautiful. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll see you in another video. Take care. Bye.